So we're back in the shop because we have daylight. Here's your soapy water as requested. We are working on a little job. This is about our 6th repair job for today. We've been going around, spending our day, doing all kinds of little things that have been put on hold, annoyances and trouble. So when we were cleaning up the shop, we moved the 430 lawnmower and it had a flat tire. Up here on the front, he wanted to get a new tube for it. It was an odd size. We were able to pick it up today. But wouldn't you know, when we were working on the Suburban, we had a lot of trouble with our floor jack. We were going through Menards today, and this is called a Turin Big Red Jack, and it's a 3-ton jack. These jacks were on sale, or clearance, for $99. We did have some open box issues, so we looked through them because sometimes the handles were taken out of them. So if you buy one, open it up. This particular box had a plastic band on it, but we have found that sometimes people can slip those bands off and put them back on. This has cast iron wheels on it for rolling around, which makes it a son of a gun to move around, but they're not going to wear out like some of the cheapos. Personally, I always thought one with nylon rollers would work good, but apparently not. We had a Harbor Freight jack, and the design of it had 2 compression springs back here that they were getting stuck like in a cartridge. We were having to beat on them to get them open, where this has got a big, I think they call that a torsion spring when it's like that. So hopefully no trouble with it. It came all pre-greased. So we can get onto our job. So we picked up our inner tube for ours. This is a 18, 8.5, and it says 9.5 to 8. So typical, I guess, for lawnmower tractors, things like that, utility, small utility things like this. But, what's this mower, like a 1980?
I'm looking right now to see if I can see it on the rim. They made them from, I think, 84 to 92.
The special thing about this lawnmower is it is a diesel John Deere lawnmower, and apparently they didn't make a whole lot of them. Was there a 300 series and a 400 series with a diesel?
322, I think, is a diesel, and 430.
Okay.
The 420 is about the same. Everything in the back's the same, except it has the short hood because it was an air-cooled gas engine, and the 430 is a liquid-cooled 3-cylinder Yanmar diesel. I like to always look at rims because most of them on trucks and farm stuff are always dated. Manufacture and date. And this has a little MR4180SB. I really can't find a date on this one. That's odd, but it being a lawnmower, you probably can run the serial number and find out. Somebody told me it was probably a very early one because it doesn't have a chute on the mower deck. If you go show them in the video, it's all one piece, which makes them look super nice and finished. But when you get in a tight squeeze between 2 trees or something, you can't make it narrower. So the deck is like, I think, what are they, a 60-inch cut?
Yeah.
But 70-something inch deck that you can't, but they look nice.
Right. The part, I'll walk over here and show you what the part is he's talking about for the chute. See, it sticks out a long ways over on this side because it's such a wide deck. And we had this mower living in the city, and it was great because this is what's called hydrostatic. Right? That's the right name?
Yeah.
So no shifting for forward and reverse. You have infinite forward and infinite reverse. And then you have your throttle. But this chute here does not flip up or come off like on some of the models. And it seems like every time I've seen one for sale, this has been parked in the shop for a while needing something done to it. There's some electrical gremlin in there, like I said before. So that makes it hard for storing it in here. But these, you can also get 3 points for the back And I think, don't they have a hydraulic hookup in there too?
I don't know. It seems like maybe they come with a EPO.
Yeah. So I've actually seen some rear 3-point kits for lawnmowers like this. And you can even get a small mini loader for the front of it, which would be perfect for little jobs around the farm, like, you know, cleaning out the barn. So if, yeah, you know where I can find one of those cheap, let me know. Somebody that I know had a 300 series, and I want to say maybe it was a 318 diesel.
Probably gas.
Yeah, maybe it was gas. I don't know, but they had swapped the motor out with a Honda motor instead. So I thought, yeah, it was probably gas. And they had a loader for it, and I saw it was sitting there just kind of broken down, and I said, if you ever want to sell it, let me know. But these little lawnmowers with a loader are still, you know, $3,500, and you can buy a little Ford Jubilee or a 8N or a 2N for that price and have a full-size tractor you can use. So I had to pass on it, but
I think it was a 400%.
I don't know. It'd be nice to put a loader on that and have it around the shop. But we've got all kinds of light in here. So we have several projects going on. We're getting ready for another bigger project. So having our lights and everything in order help a lot. Here's this box. This says it's a low profile design. But they had one that said SUV jack, compact SUV jack, and they had a hydraulic bottle jack. And it didn't have a deal on it. So he's all buttoned back up on his electrical. That job is totally complete. But we made a run to the store and we bought some more electrical supplies. So here's going to be an upcoming segment for you. I took down the pallet shelf that was here in the corner and moved the pallet full of John Deere parts, and we picked up the wiring we needed. So 75 feet, I think he said it was about 60 feet to hook up the Detroit diesel over here to the wall. 67?
Yeah.
We're gonna go here, up and over, drop down there to the fuse box. He's going to pipe it so the muffler goes out the side of the building, and we're thinking a buried fuel tank outside for it. So one project, like I said, it always leads to another project. We picked up some eaves trough parts so we can fix the drips that are happening in front of the doors. Put together our eaves trough out there so that we're not having water fall into the ground where we're going to be putting a buried tank. So, yeah, that'll be coming up. Probably start working on that. Little at a time, that's just what we do. We cleared off the shelves one day and put it in place yesterday and picked up our wiring today and figured out what we wanted to do. So we'll show you that all together. What's going on here with your wheel?
Well, the little well bladder tank in the basement, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to send it down and you got slip-off boots. Because the air filler upper is by the well, with the well tank.
Oh.
So,
All right, I'll go get it. I'll go get it. So when you do it like that, you just fill it like halfway to make sure it's holding air, and
A little bit. I put a little bit too much in it, just to make sure it's not twisted. This one actually went in really funny because it's so little,
yeah.
like usual. On only an 8-inch rim, see. So I actually put too much in. I'm going to take a little more out and just put the loop on that.
Okay.
Just mix the tape with it right. But this tire is old enough, it's just leaking through cracks in the sidewall, but for a lawnmower, it's going a couple miles an hour.
Yeah. So it didn't have a tube in it before? Okay.
I had a tubeless stem right here I took out. Pretty much wrecked it getting it out. But now it won't lose any air. And
Well, I'll tell you folks, we picked up the finish mower because of the trouble we were having getting this going, thinking, oh, finish mower will be really nice and everything. I really prefer to just get on the lawnmower garden tractor and do the mowing that way. And I know it's another engine or something to maintain, but I can get around the trees and things like that a lot better. I've got a number 10 dump cart wagon that goes with it that I picked up separately many years after he got the lawnmower. And they're real handy. They also come in a 5 and a 15. So a 5 is really small.
I think they had a 7 too.
Yeah, there's a 7. But there's a lot of local people around here that buy and flip broken lawnmowers. And the guy had something orange of a lawnmower. I don't know what it was. And somebody wanted the mower and they didn't want the wagon. And I wanted the wagon. He sold me that dump cart for $75. And I was so happy to go get it. You really can't find them for under $150. And the new modern ones are all made of plastic. So it was a good deal to get.
These are a bugger.
Sure.
Once I can get it past the
Wow, Buell. You should always have somebody hold your tire spoons here so that you don't get whacked back up in the face by one coming back at you. We don't need any concussions around here. There you go. Yay.
Now we'll see if I cause myself any trouble.
Now, somebody had asked a long time ago, how does he break the bead on these? He's got this tool. What do you call it? Oh, well, that's kind of what I figured. So it's 2 parts. This part goes inside, and you go wham. So the whole thing pushes down on it and breaks it open. A trick, especially with a narrow front tractor, if you can't get one and it's stubborn, one of the tires that we did a long time ago was so old on there from a 50-year-old tractor, he had to drive up on the wheel, or the tire, to separate the tire from the wheel.
See, it's a little off-center.
I see that.
Happens sometimes. I gotta let some air out, maybe give it some more soap.
Yeah, and then it'll slip where it wants to. I told him I didn't want to buy his floor jack for him, but I was offering to buy him a new floor jack for his birthday a few months ago. So I said, that's your birthday present, your floor jack. And we were supposed to go shopping to go get it. And we just kind of We weren't looking for it today. We just happened to have found it, and I said, hey, we need to look at the floor jacks. So we looked them all over and saw that this was a great thing. We get to everything eventually. It's kind of good to do things that way. Some people put a time limit on themselves for a project, and then they just stress themselves out not getting it done, whether it's days or hours or, you know, whatnot. I have, there it went. It slipped right up where it was supposed to. Good on that side? I've had to put my own projects on hold for 26 years having little kids around, because when the kids are calling, they want you to stop what you're doing to help them. So if a project sits here for an hour or a week, I know I'll always get back to it eventually. I have my busy days and I have my slow days. This mild winter we're having is making it nice for getting projects done like this because it's not freezing cold out here. The snow and ice are melting today. It's maybe 37 out.
I was hearing some air coming out around that stem. It's the air coming out between
Oh.
the tire and the tube. Hope that's normal. But
Yeah.
just real quick, put it right up there, and before we put it back on the tractor, check it.
How much is it saying?
Says, basically we have like 33 in it right now, which is too much probably, but I'll put it right up there high for a bit. I can't believe we found this. I don't know why they call it, maybe somebody else knows why they call this at 18.5 8
Yeah.
by 8. I get the 8 by 8. It's 8 inches wide and it's an 8-inch rim, so where did they get 18.5? Because that's
He was going out.
not 18.5 inches
No.
tall.
He was going out a couple weeks ago, and I told him the measurement. I texted him, and he's like, no. And then he looked at it, and he said, well, I don't know what that number means. So if you know, help us out, just for our own education. We like to know. Put it down in the comments below. You know I read all of your comments, and I always try to respond. And it's just interesting to see, you know. Yeah, we don't know everything. We try to share with you what we do know.
Well, we'll come back and see if it's got 33.
Okay.
And if somebody knows what's wrong with that tractor.
Oh my gosh, this tractor, I will tell you. So we bought a new starter relay. There's like 3 different relays. Here's one that we took out here. There's a ignition switch that engages here. We've replaced this twice, I think. Once.
That's your...
He's replaced the actual ignition switch with the key 2 or 3 times because I saw him sitting over there on the shelf.
This time what it did, when we turned it to run, never even hit start. It was just a huge, loud snap. You can't figure it out.
And before that, it was stalling on a hill, and I thought I'd run it out of gas or diesel.
This here was screwing us up. This is like a 2-stage. There's a magnet, electromagnet. And when you, what's the deal? It takes twice the power to pull it back, and then once it's back, I guess it knows, and then it takes half the magnetic power to hold it. And this runs your fuel. And so when you turn your key off, it loses magnetic and just shuts the fuel off, and it's done. And this was giving us trouble for years because we knew what it does.
Right.
So what would happen is I'd have to open the hood every time we wanted to use it, and I'd push this back by hand because it didn't have the power to pull, but it had the power to hold. And then when it didn't have the power to hold it, you'd start it with your hand on this, and then as soon as you tried to go use it, it would just stall. So at that point we knew we had to buy it, but we got by with it for years. We've had the mower for
Well,
15 years.
the last time I mowed with it, it stalled out on the hill, and I thought, how could I possibly be out of gas? It happened twice. It happened once out by the road and once over on the hill. And out by the road, it was flat, and it just stopped.
Well,
And you're like, you don't run a diesel out of fuel.
Well, it was this.
Right.
I figured it out later, so.
Well, that has been since you put that on there, I think.
Oh, I don't remember that.
So maybe
anyway.
that part's going bad. Anyways, if you're a John Deere guy and you know there's so much electrical stuff in this, it just gets to be trouble. That's why we have a hard time with getting in, testing it. It'll tell you how to test it just right, and then somebody says, no, you got to test it, a different way. You'll get a reading that it'll say it's bad, but then you find out it, power on or power not on.
We looked for one of these for years. I wanted one ever since. Whenever they came out in 1984, I wanted one. They were the coolest looking thing ever. They got the long hood that hangs way out, and
Oh, yeah.
they were just awesome. So we finally found one.
Oh, he wouldn't let me do the mowing at all when we first got this.
So we didn't realize, even say this is an 84 because of that deck, say it's an early one, there's probably a way to run the serial number, but I haven't.
Well, everything's on tractordata.com, so I would imagine it would be for lawnmowers too.
Maybe. But anyway, we found out now they're so complex, we even found a computer board in here.
Yeah.
Which is really bad, but we didn't know that at the time. They had gone that far by the 80s, and so. But
Yeah.
we'll get it cleaned up and get it fixed, and we just don't know what snapped and where the problem is.
Like, we babied this so much, I've actually washed and waxed this in the past. And he had talked at one point about getting some decals. I know a tree branch had got something right here, and I think that was before we owned it. We had a 212 prior to this, and you had to shift through every gear, shift it into reverse. And it was just a pain in the butt going around trees and doing everything that we needed to do. Out here, it's much more wide open, but it's complete. He's got the side panels over on the back wall there. It'll be a beauty when it's running. It will be a beauty. You'll see. We'll get it. You just got to figure it out. And if we're not out here working, we're usually looking up on the internet how to figure out something that we don't know, because there's so much more on there than there used to be, and you have to, do what you can to fix things yourselves. So if we get it going, then I don't need to keep the finish mower. I can do everything with this. And I don't know. Everything has an issue, doesn't it? Hey everyone, so it is the next morning and we are back in the shop working on the lawnmower tire. So he is checking the air pressure for that, and I'm going to let him tell you about air pressures between hot and cold and why you have to check the air pressure again, even though you've already done it and it wasn't having any leaks when you walked away.
Oh, yeah. Well, we put 33 pounds of air in it last night, and within about 5 minutes it went down to 30. And what they'll do is, we put a tube in it where it was tubeless, and the new tube, of course they're not perfectly formed to this tire, they're actually round, they're not shouldered like that. So the air in between the tube and the tire works its way out pretty quickly, and it all bubbles out of here. So it got down to 30, it quit bubbling, let it go all night, came back the next day, still at 30. So the 3 pounds of loss is just like on a truck tire when you put a tube in or something. It has to work its way out somewhere. It doesn't seem to like to come out the bead. Sometimes they do a little bit, but usually it comes out here, and this one did. So we know now it's good. It won't drop below 30 pounds for, 16 hours.
Okay, so what's the difference between hot and cold with the air pressure?
You'll lose air pressure when the air cools down in the tire, like trucks. You can lose quite a few pounds just during the fall. So every time you service the truck in the fall and it gets colder and colder, you usually want to top them off a little bit. And then for some reason they don't seem to gain too much in the summer. When summer comes after the winter, you don't have to take any out. I don't know why.
So if you're using your lawn and garden tractor for pushing snow or with a snowblower attachment on it, or a back blade,
Hands off from summer.
Okay.
But
And then you would lose traction on snow?
You'd gain traction. Softer tires grip better.
Okay.
Snow and ice, so.
Well, if you want them at the pressure that is recommended for your tire, you would want to air it up. I remember.
You're not doing too much without chains with a lawnmower anyway. We had to always put chains on ours.
Oh, yeah.
They don't, unless you're 500 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But 240 pounds doesn't cut it, I can tell you that. With the skin. Yes, right. Yep. No end. That's right. You're smart.
No filler end. That's right.
Do you want to show what you did to your dupa? You want to show about the new dupa? Okay.
George is going to show us what he did to his dupa. Tractors are dupas. Yeah? Do you need a lift? Here, I'll give you a lift. Oh! You on? Okay. So he sent me, speaking of jobs leading to other jobs, to pick up a battery the other day because we've been sharing a battery with the Dodge truck and this tractor, and we needed a stud post.
We were wearing out our terminals, being cheap and switching the battery back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So we sent the pretty wife to go. We found out that one of our customers is carrying recycled batteries, the recons.
Yeah.
And for Group 31, the $50 was a warranty. So we thought, well, since we know the guy, we'll go try one. So when you went in, they grabbed you a top stud, tested it, and it had sat there for longer because it was top stud, and they don't sell as quick.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody in there was nice to you and grabbed
A better battery.
we needed a top post, and so they went and got you a better one that had just shown up, and that was top stud. So you came with a top stud, so you can show them how we fixed it.
Instead of top post.
Well, we didn't. They had already pulled the little warranty, the little circles out
Yeah.
for the month and the year.
Right.
And he's a customer, so we didn't want to go back and say, well, they handed us the wrong one because you didn't catch it either. So instead of even saying anything, we spent $2 and we show them how we did it, because it's just for a tractor.
And sorry to lady viewers, but it was the ladies behind the counter that screwed it up, and I didn't know the difference.
It doesn't matter. We're not going to bug them about it. Just don't say anything. And it's because this Group 31 battery is quite a bit of battery for a
Yeah.
little tractor.
So there's a way to fix it.
Yep, you can show them a way to fix it. Me and George did that this morning. And it worked great.
So they have a post or stud to post conversion kit. Not the other way around.
Post to stud.
Yeah. So for $3,
$2.
well, it was $2 and some change.
Oh,
At the hardware store or your Tractor Supply even had them. He'd actually got some that were on clearance at Tractor Supply, and just in one switching, they stripped out because it's soft aluminum.
I think they're lead or something.
Oh.
They're very soft. But anyway, these are...
Do you have one of the others that you took off to show me?
Yeah.
In my hand. Hi, can I see? So these diamond batteries, they're marketing them as, is out of Turin, Michigan, and that's local for us. Well, semi-local. It's in Michigan, so that's great. You're supporting a local company, but there's companies all over, and I've seen tags for diamond batteries at other places. So this is the stud to post conversion. It's threaded on the inside, so it goes right on the stud there, and then it becomes a post. Pretty fancy, huh?
It's not a bad thing because, say a truck battery got hot and was going to blow up or something and we needed it for a day or two, you can just take these off, take it out of and put it in a truck and get your work done for the day.
Yeah. So it would have cost us more in time and fuel to run back, and he didn't want to bug somebody, so they probably have them in different sizes because this says 3/8 stud type battery. But yeah, pretty handy. You know, just don't over thread it because you'll strip it out, and get the best ones you can if you don't have the right battery. So we were able to make that battery work that wasn't going to work for us. We're always making do with what we got, don't we? Little George is wearing a coat that half of his brothers wore, and a hat that everybody has wore. Guy here is making do with what he's got. We've been shopping online for a zipper for him today. He's got 2 of these jackets, and the teeth break off. Never get replacement zippers that are the nylon deal. So we're looking for a $10 zipper for his $40 jacket. You be careful. So do you have to grease anything in there?
No. These are a sealed bearing. They're permanent until they fail, you know. Grease them, there's no dirt. You can't pull them apart. It's just some old lawn one dust in here and it's cleaned out, but not much to it. Not the best deal, but as we found out earlier, been going since 1986 on the number.
That's what I was going to ask. You found out it was an 86 from the...
86. I knew it would probably be early, but I would have bet that it was the first year with that funny mold shoot thing. But it wasn't. It's we knew they made them from... Somebody told me they made them from 84 to 92. And that's what the... What was that website?
Tractordata.com.
So that's at 84 to 92 as well. And this one's an 86. Very early 86, within the first 200. So... surprised me.
Okay.
Because that's a pretty classy finished look to have that shoot like that, but people might have complained because it does cost to get through fences.
Oh, to haul it on a trailer is nearly impossible.
So there's a little hole in the trailer.
Yeah, it just wouldn't go on. Because, like, if we bring this back and forth, we have to use the big open-sided trailer, the, landscape trailers or whatever you get at Tractor Supply, Farm and Home, that sort of deal. They aren't wide enough because, like he said, a lot of them are 10 or 14 by, 6. And it's not going to go once you get into your wheel well areas, and that's a problem. So I think that's why they switched to the flip-up deal, or removable, and almost every John Deere 430 that I saw for sale last summer, we were kind of looking for a replacement. What I was really looking for is a snowblower attachment for the front and possibly a rototiller attachment for the back. With having farm equipment, it's not something that's a priority, and the dollar amount spent for something for a lawn and garden tractor versus a utility tractor or row crop tractor is totally not comparable. So, we never found any, but everyone I saw for sale, if it had it taken off, they've lost it. I saw a real nice one that had a snowblower attachment, a rototiller, the mower deck, and it had everything I wanted, missing the side. $7,000-8,000. It's crazy when you can buy a full-size farm tractor for $7,000 and buy a $50 back blade and put it on it. So
we were surprised to find out in 1992, just the standard lawnmower with no attachments.
Yeah.
$9,500 for this.
Yeah.
So if you adjust that, adjusting for inflation from 30 years back, you got it times like 2.5. Well, that's what that is, 28 years. So.
And we've had this for
15 years.
that long? Wow. So they're handy. Oh yeah, there's our serial. Remember, I was looking for it last night and couldn't find it.
Yep.
So there's your serial number if you're looking for information on your tractor. This was made in
Wisconsin. 1980.
Yeah, it said the plant was Wisconsin. The sticker says Moline, Illinois, but that's not. That's just their company headquarters at the time, I guess. It was an odd name.
Built in Wisconsin.
Yeah, a lot of tractors at a John Deere factory, even the full-size tractors, in Dubuque, Iowa. on the John Deere's. Oh. You're dusting it off.
Yeah.
I'm always careful about dusting anything off like this because I don't want to scratch it.
Since it's been broke multiple times.
I know.
It's so dusty here in the summer that
Well, it was all polished and nice, so the wax is, it's just sitting on the wax.
Yeah.
But,
we'll get it.
anyways, I had to make some room on my memory card for that, so he just got that back on. Real easy, back on, back off. So if you're a homeowner and you're doing any kind of work in the winter, in the summer, you know, check your air pressures. He's got lots of experience with tires and changing them. And what do those little spoons cost for a homeowner to do their own tires like that?
Those little short ones have been collected over the years, and then we bought a couple with a little nice little hook. And they weren't much money, but I don't remember. They're just from the store. But the big truck stuff is actually kind of hard to find. Those are more like that slide bar.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, you can pick up your tire spoons and learn how to do your own tires. It's real handy to have that, to not have to go in, wait for, you know, an hour, come back. And, you know, the only benefit is they're going to dispose of your old tire for you. But I will tell you, they turn around and slice them in half and resell them and recycle them for playgrounds and whatever. And they charge you a disposal fee for it, and they're getting paid for it. So it's better for you to put your old tire for sale on Craigslist. And he's found he can use old tires, full-size tires and car tires for loading things if you have to tip something onto a trailer. You ready to go to the house? Good boy. Okay, we'll take you to the house. So anyways, that's always a nice way to recycle your tires, to have them for loading and unloading things so that they're not falling down on something hard if you have to tip it. So that's enough random stuff for you today. We're going to get on with the rest of our work jobs for today and take little guy to the house. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.